Let's go. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. No one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors, no one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors.
Welcome, everyone, to Cage Nation TV South. I'm your host for the evening, Mr. Albert Cameron, and we just got done with Next Level Fight Club 6 here in Raleigh, North Carolina. 10 fights, 2 title fights, one incredible night of action that I'm so glad I didn't miss. Now, we're going to break down the entire fight card, including the Heavyweight Championship title main event that happened between Alan Crowder and Coach Chase Campbell. Let's take it to the action, folks.
In our first bout of the evening, welterweights Quintez Sapp and John Schell met inside the Next Level cage. Schell came out of the bell as the aggressor. Sapp was able to turn the tights and implement standing pressure against the cage. It wasn't long before the fight hit the ground, and Sapp maintained ground control, landing big shots on the ground. Schell was able to sweep Sapp, and as the fight came to the feet, Schell scored with big shots. The round ended in a ground flurry. Round 2 opened up with Schell as the aggressor again, fighting for a takedown. Schell pressured Sapp against the cage and started driving knees into the midsection. Quintez was able to create some distance between the two and landed a solid shot that ended the fight. Your winner in 36 seconds of round number 2 by technical knockout, Quintez Sapp. In the amateur bantamweight division, Tim Balow drew Michael Harrison. Round 1 opened with Harrison displaying some impressive taekwondo. Employing high-risk kicks to keep range, Balow and Harrison would find themselves on the cage and traded sweeps into each other's guards. As the fight got back to the feet, an accidental foul occurred on Balow. Harrison came out with more high-risk taekwondo, but Balow was able to secure the takedown. Balow and Harrison would trade sweeps again, but as Tim Balow was able to get top position, he began laying down some aggressive ground and pound to end the round. Round number 2 saw Tim Balow capitalizing on the momentum he was building in the first round, scoring a takedown. Balow was employing more ground and pound, Harrison trying to counter with an armbar attempt. Balow was able to escape, took Harrison's back, and got the submission victory of 1 minute 10 seconds of round number 2. Lightweights were the next to declare war in the Next Level Fight Club cage, pitting Elias Briley versus Evan Daniels. Daniels began the round as the aggressor in the opening moments, but the round quickly turned into a Thai boxing clinic with both fighters throwing heavy hands and lethal knees. Briley received a warning for an illegal knee to the head, but it didn't take the steam out of the fight. Daniels and Briley were right back at it, trading strikes, scrambling for takedowns, and trading strikes again. Another accidental foul saw the first of 2-point deductions taken from Briley. The fight was stopped while the doctor took a look at Daniels' eye. The round ended much like it began, a slugfest. Round number 2 kept in the striking tradition of the first. Briley was able to score a takedown, Daniels was able to escape, and Briley scored another takedown. Briley able to employ a crucial few moments of ground and pound. Daniels was able to end the round on his feet. Round 3 was possibly more intense of an opening than the previous two. Briley was able to score another takedown again, Daniels able to recover to his feet. Briley was able to put Daniels to the mat, and his second point deduction occurred when an elbow was landed to the head of a downed opponent. As the fight's closing moments began to tick away, Briley and Daniels went out swinging. Your winner by unanimous decision, Elias Briley. Briley and Daniels were both very gracious to each other's corners, making sure that everyone knew there was no bad blood. The fourth contest of the evening was a grappling match between Sam Bryant and Mike Lyons. The match began with some expected posturing and measuring, both men wanting to be offensive without sacrificing defensive advantage. Lyons shot in, was able to execute a big single leg takedown, landing in Bryant's guard. Bryant was able to get back to his feet. In a bold move, Mike Lyons pulled guard on Bryant, and as the opportunity presented itself, Bryant fought for a knee bar. Lyons escaped the submission attempt, and the match was back to the feet. Lyons pulled guard yet again, but Bryant wouldn't find himself there for long. Bryant was able to escape Lyons' guard and take Lyons' back. During Sam Bryant's campaign for back dominance, he secured a body triangle for leverage and worked on variations of the rear naked choke. Lyons scrambled and Bryant would find himself in side control, eventually scoring knee on belly position. Bryant fought for yet another knee bar, which transitioned into an ankle lock. Because neither fighter could secure a submission before the time it expired, the match was declared a draw. The fifth fight of the evening was a lightweight bout between Chris Hurd and Michael Waters. After a brief feeling out period, Chris Hurd was able to get the knockout victory in 17 seconds of round number 1. The last bout on the amateur portion of the fight card was for the vacant Next Level Fight Club Amateur Welterweight Championship between Andrew Havener and Matthew Johnson. Round number 1 began with both fighters feeling each other out. As both men felt more comfortable, the strikes began to fly. After a flurry of fists, an accidental groin foul dropped Havener to the canvas. The referee allowed recovery time for Havener, the ringside doctor monitoring his condition throughout the stop. Havener in his corner felt that the action could continue, with Havener's ability to throw mid-range and high-range kicks limited by the procuring foul. As Havener and Johnson traded strikes, Johnson scored 2 unanswered shots to Havener that didn't seem to faze the contender. Havener began to throw heavy leather, and Johnson displayed good head movement. The round ended with exchanging strikes. Round 2 opened with Havener scoring a takedown. Johnson grabbed Havener's arm and began working an armbar. Havener slammed Johnson against the mat to escape, only to have Johnson grab for the arm for a submission again. Havener was able to escape to a standing position, and both men were throwing hands again. Matthew Johnson was able to score the takedown and scored mount. As Johnson scored mount, Havener tapped out, your winner and new amateur welterweight champion, Matt Johnson. In the first bout in the evening's Pro Series, David Moore and Anthony Wright would do battle in the featherweight division. Wright opened the round with some impressive taekwondo kicks, and as the round progressed, Wright capitalized with a big head kick, followed by a flurry of strikes. Anthony Wright would begin raining elbows down on David Moore, which transitioned into a standing guillotine. The referee stopped the bout at 4 minutes and 12 seconds of round number 1. Your winner, Anthony Wright. Next up were the welterweights. Ali, the Red Scorpion, drew Doug Coltrane. As Coltrane opened the fight with aggressive strikes, Ali demonstrated great head movement and calculated counter-striking. As the opportunity presented itself, Ali attacked and overwhelmed Coltrane with strikes until the referee stopped the bout at 37 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by TKO, Ali the Red Scorpion. The co-main event of the evening saw James Rosnick and Cody Maltese go to war. The bout hit the mat early and Maltese began controlling the ground and pound. As aggressive as Maltese was, Rosnick was defensive in his positioning and transitioned as he was in trouble. Maltese was just as slick with his transitions, and a ground flurry ended up in a guillotine choke. Cody Maltese was able to stop the bout in 4 minutes and 40 seconds of round number 1 by submission. The main event of the evening was supposed to be a title fight between challenger Richard White versus champion Alan Crowder. Coach Chase Campbell stepped in as a last-minute replacement, and the title fight was on. Both men came out incredibly aggressive, big shots being thrown and landed. Crowder scored a slam, but Campbell was able to reverse out of the position and into a guillotine choke. Crowder was able to power out of Campbell's choke, and Campbell began working for an armbar. In a show of strength and power, Crowder picked up Campbell and slammed him into an escape. Crowder began flurrying with strikes, but Campbell was able to sweep out of the position, taking side control. Crowder got to his feet and hoisted Campbell up and slammed the man down, rendering him unconscious upon impact. The referee stopped the bout at 4 minutes and 43 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by TKO and still Next Level Fight Club heavyweight champion, Alan Crowder. It's also important to note, Crowder, his corner, and Campbell's corner remained in the cage in concern until Campbell was able to stand on his own accord. Campbell was applauded for his efforts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you very much for joining us for our coverage of Next Level Fight Club 6 here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Incredible action. The main event was so frenetic. The action happened so fast, and that finish was so impactful that it rattled me for the first time in a long time in a fight that I was actually there for live. A main event shook me to my core. Next Level Fight Club is coming back to Raleigh, North Carolina in May. We're going to have that complete coverage. A very big thank you to everyone at Next Level Fight Club. We thank you guys for everything you've done. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go. Ah.